Hello. Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. Man, this year, right? 2018 has been a year. It's been interesting. Good stuff, bad stuff. It's been a bit of a strain. Not every year is a bit of a strain. It's 365 days. A lot happens. A lot can happen in one day. You know, we measure the time and date, and a lot can happen in a minute. 60 minutes of the hour, 24 hours of the day, 365 days of the year. It stacks up. A year is about the time for us to absorb and reflect until we need to reset ourselves a little bit. That's why birthdays are so important, I think. That's how we measure our personal time. And then there's this whole New Year's thing, where we look back on what we accomplished in the last year and resolve to do the things we need to do in the next. It's been an interesting year. It's been an interesting year for the world. It's been an interesting year for the country. It's been an interesting year for the state in which I live, more than half of which has been on fire at this point, I think. And a personally interesting year. It's funny. I am not where I was at last year. Not many people I know are. Things have changed. Moved ahead, fallen back, a little bit of both. The good thing about this kind of reflection is that on an individual basis, we get to determine how we've done. And the only person who sets forth the criteria for how we measure our personal growth over that year is us. I am generally harsh on myself, especially reflecting at this time of year. I am universally down on myself by the end of December. That's the seasonal affective disorder, and I could be in a financially better place where I could provide more holiday cheer for the people and family around me. I've spent time with family and with friends and seen people I want to help much more than I currently can. So it is easy, very easy, to get a little critical of how my last year has gone. Can I help people more at this point in time than I could a year ago? Ish. At the same time, three years ago at this time, I had just been diagnosed with cancer. I would not know until after all of my treatments exactly how bad it was when I was diagnosed. So every day that I move forward is kind of a gift. I am still breathing. That is a bonus. I have more use of my brain and faculties than I did in 2015 and 2016 at this time. So I am ahead there. About even with last year, if not a little bit lower, but there's a lot of factors involved in that. I have stabilized most of my medical conditions at this point in time. Bonus. I have learned to live with most of the adaptations that I've had to make from the procedures. Bonus, I got some projects done this year that I needed to finish, and I got some started that take me in new directions. I discovered some of my limitations. I tried to work retail for a couple of weeks. And it didn't work out. And that's because I don't have a contiguous spine anymore. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking it'd be really awesome to manage a game store, and in order to do that, I had to get experience in working one so I would know how to manage people. And that did not work out well, because apparently 90% of everything you do in retail involves getting down to the floor and getting back up again, and that's the trick that Scott can't do more than once without almost crippling himself. Opening the doors, get down on the ground, set up these displays close to the ground, clean this stuff up on the ground, all of which were perfectly normal duties and things that I could be expected to do and things I could expect other people to do, but I can't do. But I got 2 weeks out of that. I got 2 weeks of that experience and found out I can push myself for about 2 weeks. And then I am down. I'm going to call that one a wash across the board. Mostly because while I discovered something I couldn't do, I also discovered how hard I could push myself physically, and I've determined to get myself further ahead. Not that I am ever going to try and do that kind of a job again. That is not something that I think I'll be physically capable of doing, but maybe get myself to the point where I could push something like that for 3 weeks or a month. I ran a lot of good games this year. Again, Game Store. Having that regular routine game that I run on a weekly basis, and having a dedicated group of players, a big table, like 9 to 12 players a week, which is ridiculously big for a D&D group, but people consistently having fun and consistently coming back, and having the creativity behind it and moving ahead. That's been just amazing, because I didn't think my brain would ever do that properly again, and I was wrong. I've learned more about the industry, about the gaming industry in general, the role-playing game industry, and how things operate. I have seen companies go through a lot of changes. I've seen computer game companies make really good decisions, really, really bad ones, all of which is very educational. I've learned a lot this year, and so I'm going to call this year net positive, at least personally, because I've got more stuff that is useful. I can make better decisions moving forward from this point. I'm not going to make any resolutions. New Year's resolutions have seemed like a destructive process to me in the past, because I really don't need that kind of pressure. There are projects I need to finish, but I would need to finish those projects whether I made a resolution about them or not. Maybe resolving to finish more projects. No, let's not get crazy now. "2018 brought a lot of people a lot of anger and a lot of misery, a lot of frustration. And a lot of people lost a lot of hope on both sides of everything. I don't think that's going to last. I have had my own moments of watching world events and yelling silently at my computer, and occasionally not so silently, drawing some complaints from the neighbors. But all in all, we have seen some of the worst of humanity, we have seen some of the best of humanity, and we have, while there is a culture of difficulty ahead of us, there's also a culture of youth determined not to let it stop them. Truth be told, there is a young man who lives across the hall from this office. And when I look to a future where I want to have hope, I look to the fact that he makes better decisions than I do. Certainly at his age. When I was his age, I was not headed in terribly reasonable directions. Oh, I had some dreams and some inspirations that I wanted to follow up on, none of which really worked out the way I thought they would. But I was more of a dreamer than I probably should have been. And my son has a grip. I mean, a ridiculous grip on what is coming next and what direction he is going in. And that gives me a tremendous, well, aside from the pride of a father who sees a son exceeding his abilities at that point in life, but as a general barometer for how I see the world going, using Andrew as my indicator is probably one of the healthiest things I've ever done. I don't know how your year's gone. I don't know what has happened for you in this year, and if you would like to share things that have happened with you in this year, you feel free. You leave me a comment. I will read them all. I will do my best to respond. I need to find the positive things in my own year. I need to find the positive things in my own existence to put down in front of me and look at and see that there has been momentum. Semper et Diencles, ever forward. Momentum. There are things I am heading for, and I have picked up some speed and do not intend to stop. I'm going to slow down because, well, it's me and I know my limitations, but I'm not going to stop because I don't really know my limitations. And I encourage you to do the same. I hope your year has been tolerable. If it is not, you have my condolences. I wish you joy for a new year. I wish you momentum and success, because I'm absolutely going to try to accomplish that myself. It's not a destination. New Year's Eve is not a finish line. It is not a tape that you have to break through ahead of everyone else. It's part of a journey. It is a path. I don't have a finish line. When I do cross a finish line, I'll never know it. I certainly will not care. In the meantime, everything is just part of a journey. It is the path that is important, not the destination. And I look forward in my upcoming year to follow that path with you, continuing to watch me trying to make sense of it all. So, pick up some dice, a beverage of your choice, roll initiative. I will see you next year. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. Share your year. Share your hopes for the next year. If you choose to have resolutions, what are they? Leave me a comment below. I will love getting a comment. You will love leaving me one. If you have not subscribed to my channel, why not? My channel is awesome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you do, hit the little notification bell next to it so you're alerted when my videos become available. If you'd like to contribute to the channel in a substantial manner, I invite you to hit me up on my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum, and consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, Happy New Year. I'm Scott Corum. This is what has mattered to me. And I will see you next year on Matters of DeCorum.